What do you do when the world underestimates you, when they count you out, when they look at you and say, you'll never rise, you'll never win, you'll never make it, he'll never be today? Joseph's own brothers threw him into a pit, left him for dead, but God was using that very pit to position him for the palace. Sometimes the rejection is the redirection. Sometimes the isolation is the incubation. Child of God, you don't need applause. You don't need validation. What you need is focus. If you can silence the noise and set your eyes on what God put in you, the very ones who doubted, you will be shocked by what he does through you. Away from it. And what I'm about to reveal to you about this could shift your perspective forever, but you must watch this video until the very end. Don't skip. Why? Why are you still waiting for broken people to tell your whole? Why are you waiting for someone else's yes when God already spoke his yes over your life? Oh, child of God, hear me. Too many of us are living on borrowed approval, waiting for somebody to clap for us, waiting for somebody to love us right, and waiting for somebody to confirm what heaven already declared. But let me tell you, Joseph didn't need his brothers to agree with his dream. He didn't need them to validate his vision. God had already put destiny on his life. And the same God who spoke over Joseph is speaking over you today. Away from it. You don't need their validation when you've got God's confirmation. See, the danger in relationships, whether it's friendships, courtships, or partnerships, is when you start looking outward for something that only God can give inward. When you let another person's approval become the fuel for your identity, you will forever lie empty. But Jesus said in John 14:27, peace I leave with you, my peace I give you. I do not give to you as the world's. Do you hear that? The world's peace is temporary. The world's validation is shaky, but the peace of God is unshakable. I need to tell somebody this. Stop trying to make broken people your mirror, because a broken mirror can't give you a whole reflection. Some of you are crying over why he doesn't see your worth, why she doesn't value your heart, why they can't honor your gift. Let me set you free. And it's not you're not valuable. It's that they're not capable. Joseph's brothers couldn't see him because envy blinded them. Samson lost his strength because he trusted Delilah with what only belonged to God. Oh, you better hear me. The wrong relationship will rob you of vision and drain you of focus and pull you away from the very destiny God is calling you to. But when you shift the focus back to yourself, back to who God called you to be, back to what he spoke over your life, you step into alignment with destiny. That's why Proverbs 4:23 declares, above all else, guard your heart, for everything you do flows from it. Guard your heart, protect your peace, keep your focus. Somebody listening right now, you've been begging for attention. You've been craving affirmation. But God says, if you'll focus on me, I'll shock everybody who doubted you. He's about to raise you up in such a way that the very ones who couldn't see your value will have no choice but to witness your victory. So don't you dare wait another day for them to clap. Don't you dare pause your destiny for their opinion. Lift your head, dry your tears, and focus on the God who has already stamped you approved. And hear me when I tell you this prophetically, if you will focus on yourself, on your healing, on your calling, on your relationship with God. He will shock everyone who thought you couldn't rise. You'll get ready. Your next chapter will silence every critic. What if the season you're calling loneliness is really the season God is calling preparation? What if the people who left you weren't a loss, but a launch? Child of God, leaning right here. Because somebody is weeping over who walked away, but you don't even realize that their exit was necessary for your elevation. Sometimes isolation is not punishment, it's preparation. Look at David, overlooked, left in the fields, tending sheep while his brothers were paraded before the prophet. His family didn't think he was qualified, but God had him in the quiet places, sharpening a slingshot, cultivating worship, learning faithfulness. And when the time came, the very boy they ignored was the one God anointed to be king. Oh, despise the field season. Don't curse the lonely nights. Don't waste your tears on who left, because the field is where God forges kings and queens. Hear me, some of you are begging God to send somebody into your life when God is deliberately keeping you by yourself. Why? Away from it, because he knows if he gave you the relationship before you healed, you would sabotage. If he gave you the partner before you learn identity, you would cling to them instead of clinging to him. So instead, he pulls you away. He silences the noise. He cuts the circle down. And he says, it's just you and me now. Oh, I feel this. Jesus himself had to go into the wilderness alone. No disciples, no crowd, no cheering section, just him, the Spirit, and the devil trying to tempt him. And it was in that place of isolation that his identity was tested, but also where his identity was solidified. If you can't stand being alone, you'll never be ready to stand with the right one. That's why some relationships fall apart. You mistook loneliness for readiness. You jumped into connection because you hated the silence and not because God said it was time. And now you're frustrated, drained, questioning God when all along he was whispering, stay with me in the quiet. I'm preparing you. Isaiah 431 says, they that wait upon the Lord shall renew their strength. Waiting doesn't weaken you. It renews you. Waiting doesn't delay you. It develops you. Waiting doesn't punish you. It positions you. So dry those tears. Stop scrolling through your phone looking for who didn't text back. Stop rehearsing the breakup in your mind. Instead, ask God, what are you teaching me in this season? Because every time God isolates you, it's a divine classroom where he downloads vision, heals wounds, and strengthens your discernment. And when he finally brings that relationship, that friendship, that partnership into your life, you'll be so rooted in him that you won't be shaken by them. You won't confuse their presence with your purpose. You'll love them, but you won't lose yourself in them. Prophetically, I declaring your isolation is not your ending. It is your training ground. Stay faithful in the silent season, because when God unveils you, the very people who left you will be shocked by who you've become. Who's stealing your focus? Who's draining your strength? Who have you allowed in your circle that God never sent into your season? Oh, hear me, child of God. The enemy doesn't always attack with a storm. Sometimes he attacks with a distraction. Sometimes it's not the thunder or the lightning. It's the whisper, the text message, the late night call that pulls your mind off your mission and ties your energy to foolishness. That's why you've got to guard your focus. Look at Nehemiah. He was rebuilding the wall of Jerusalem, focused on God's assignment, when Sanballat and Tobiah came with distractions. Come down and meet with us. Let's talk. But Nehemiah said, I am doing a great work and I cannot come down. Nehemiah 6G3T, he refused to let the chatter pull him from the call. And some of you need that same holy boldness in your relationships. I am doing a great work and I cannot come down, because the truth is, some connections are not companions, they're contaminants. They look like support, but they drain your spirit. They sound like love, but they rob your peace. You keep pouring into people who never pour back, and now you're exhausted, confused, and wondering why you feel empty. Baby, it's not because you're weak. It's because you're leaking. Paul warned us in 1 Corinthians 15:33, do not be misled. Bad company corrupts good character. You can be anointed, you can be gifted, back away from it. But if you surround yourself with the wrong people, their dysfunction will disrupt your destiny. That's why discernment is critical in every relationship. Is this person feeding my faith or fueling my frustration? Are they sharpening me like iron or dulling me with distraction? Let me break it down. When God's someone, they push you closer to him, not further. They encourage your purpose, not diminish it. They add clarity, not confusion. But when the devil sends someone, they come as an interruption, a distraction, a counterfeit that pulls your focus off God's assignment and ties you to cycles of pain. Oh, you better check the fruit. Because Jesus said in Matthew 7-16, by their fruit you will recognize them. And let me talk to somebody. Stop mistaking constant drama for destiny. If every time you engage with them you lose peace, focus, lose yourself, it's a sign. God doesn't send chaos, he sends covenant. So this is your call today. Guard your focus. Set boundaries. Protect your energy. Like Nehemiah, stay on your wall. Because when you stay focused, the very things designed to distract, you will end up defeated. And prophetically, I declare the season of leaks is over. And God is cutting off distractions and restoring your focus. Get ready. When you protect your energy and guard your focus, the next relationship in your life won't drain you. It will align you with destiny. Stay on the wall and watch God finish the work in you. What if the very thing you're overlooking, the very relationship you're underestimating, the very season you're despising is the very thing God intends to use to shift your destiny? Hear me, child of God. God turns the ordinary into the extraordinary. He doesn't always move through the spectacular. Sometimes he hides his greatest blessings in the ordinary and the overlooked, the underestimated. And if you're not careful, you'll dismiss what heaven has designed. Look at Gideon. When the angel found him, he was threshing wheat and hiding, calling himself the least in his family, the weakest in his clan. But heaven called him mighty man of valor. What he saw as ordinary, God saw as extraordinary. And that's the same mistake we make in relationships. We look at the package, the status, the surface, while God is looking at the purpose, the character, the heart. Oh, somebody hear me. You might be overlooking David because he's still in the field tending sheep. You might be ignoring Ruth because she's gleaning in the fields and not shining in the spotlight. But don't miss it. God often wraps extraordinary destiny in ordinary appearances. That's why Samuel almost anointed the wrong son of Jess. He looked tally-ab tall, impressive, outwardly qualified, but God stopped him. Do not consider his appearance or his height, for the Lord doesn't look at the things people look at. People look at the outward appearance, but the Lord looks at the heart. Etta 1 Samuel 16G7. Some of you keep running after the flashy, the fine, the familiar, and you keep ending up hurt, drained, and disappointed. Why? Because you judged the outside while ignoring the inside. You wanted chemistry, but overlooked character. You wanted attraction, but ignored alignment. You wanted connection, but forgot about covenant. Oh, but when God sends someone, they may not come in the package you expected, but they'll carry the fruit you need. They'll speak life into your purpose, not drain it. They'll protect your heart, not play with it. They'll cover you in prayer, not cover you in pain. And sometimes God wants you to see the extraordinary in yourself. You think from it, you think you're too broken, too ordinary, too unworthy for love. But God says, I've chosen you. I've called you. I've equipped you. When you see yourself as ordinary, you settle for relationships that don't honor you. But when you see yourself as extraordinary, you wait on what God has ordained for you. So I came to tell somebody, don't despise small beginnings. Don't overlook the Hubble package. Don't underestimate the season that looks quiet, because God is weaving extraordinary destiny through ordinary threads. And prophetically, I declare the next relationship, the next opportunity, and the next door God opens may not look like much at first, but it will carry a weight of glory that will shock every doubter. Get ready. God is about to turn your ordinary into extraordinary. You don't have to argue with your haters. You don't have to clap back at your ex. You don't have to prove your worth to anyone, because your transformation will be your testimony. Oh, child of God, listen to me. Too many of us waste time trying to explain ourselves to people who never understood us in the first place. You're trying to convince somebody of your value when God already stamped you approved. You're crying, Lord, why don't they see me? But maybe God blinded them so they couldn't distract you from your destiny. Look at Daniel. His enemies schemed against him, threw him into the lion's den, expected him to be devoured. But when the morning came, Daniel walked out untouched, and the king himself had to declare, the God of Daniel is the living God. Daniel 6:26. Did Daniel argue? No. Did he defend himself? No. And his transformation, his survival was the testimony. That's what some of you need in your relationships. Stop trying to prove to that man you're worthy of love. Stop trying to prove to that woman you're faithful. Stop trying to prove to people who keep mishandling you. If they can't see it now, they won't see it later. Don't waste your energy trying to justify yourself. Live in such a way that your growing, your elevation becomes undeniable. Romans 102:2 tells us, be transformed by the renewing of your mind. That means you don't just change partners, you change patterns. You don't just change relationships, you change your thinking. And when your mind is renewed, your discernment sharpens. You no longer fall for counterfeits. You no longer settle for half love. You no longer accept crumbs when God promised you covenant. Let me make it plain. Sometimes God allows the heartbreak, the betrayal, the rejection, not to destroy you, but to transform you. Because after the pain, you pray different. act away from. After the disappointment, you discern different. After storm, you stand different. And when people see the new you, they won't even recognize the old you. That's why you can't go back. Don't go back to Egypt when God is leading you to the promised land. Don't go back to the relationship that broke you when God is preparing someone who will bless you. Transformation means you outgrow environments, you outgrow cycles, you outgrow people who refuse to grow with you. So let them talk, let doubt, let them walk away, because God is about to raise you up in such a way that the very ones who rejected you will have to witness his hand on your life. You won't need to say a word. Your fruit will speak. Your peace will speak. Your glow will speak. Your testimony will speak. And prophetically, I declare your transformation will be so undeniable that your life will self-silence every critic, heal every wound, and testify of God's glory. Get ready. The new you is about to shock the world.